Hello and welcome to this video. We're playing rahul1451 and we've begun with a e4 knight f3. We're facing the Sicilian defense and we just get the standard d6. We're going to have a trade on d4 in all likelihood, and we're going to play knight c3 to defend the e pawn. We're going to play bishop g5 for a change. Go to e6 so that the knight's defended, and I'm going to go with bishop e2 here and castle short, and then try and follow up with f4. f4, queen b6 is interesting. King h1, it could be annoying. Maybe we play something like, maybe play king h1 first here, then we can play f4 without having to worry about that. So quick b5 with the plan of hitting the knight. So actually could even think about preventing that one. Let's just try and prevent that. Then we get, or we can just play f3. We could just ignore it and just go for broke here. Let's see, e5, d takes, f4, b4, knight where? Knight hasn't got a great square to go to actually, so I think we want to try and prevent that. So let's just try with it. Let's go with a3. It seems a bit kind of slow, to be honest. I get bishop b7 most likely. Okay, bishop b7. And, well, let's just keep things solid. In that case, just go with f3. These moves don't seem to be great together. Like, if we're going to play f3, why do we need to play a3? Because a3 doesn't really help us. So I'm not sure I like this. I'm not sure that bishop's really doing anything. Queen d2 might run into knight takes e4. So what about something like queen e1? Is that a move? Queen e1, queen h4. Okay, knight e5. Knight doesn't seem to be doing anything. Can we now play f4? Now that we get that tempo on the knight. I guess knight g4 now. Okay, bishop comes to c4. So we could just hack this off and then go for e5. We've got to watch out for this knight here. f5 is interesting. f5. I'm going to go with this. Hack the knight. This knight is now covered in e5. Takes. And I'm running into that. Or something like this. Rook a d1 first, then e5. Guess the e5 can't be answered with d5. That knight would be on prise. So we might be able to push these f and e pawns. May not be in too bad shape here. So knight e4 doesn't look like it worked. Okay, they're just going for this now. That's fine. Well, we were planning to play e5 anyway, so we'll just think about e5 and then bishop takes c7 and then push f5 if we can. That looks pretty good actually for white. This bishop is now blocked in. Don't love this for black now. Black was in better shape earlier in the game. I have to move the knight, so I don't see a good reason not to trade here. And then, like we said, just push f5. Actually, pushing f5 is interesting because this e pawn will be on prise from this knight and queen together, so we need to watch out for that. Let's just see what we can do about that. Do we want to? Yeah. Okay, so that's something. That is a little something we need to be wary of. And maybe black wants to play f6 soon. So what to do about this? f6 to break these pawns up. That's okay. Okay. I mean, maybe we can play. Move this rook here. That's something like queen e3. Queen e3 is nice. Is queen c5 coming? Maybe, but I think maybe queen c5 is coming here. I was thinking of trying to get this rook here and getting the extra protection for e5 and then just continue on with c5. Okay, so you've gone in with the knight. The knight might come to e4, but I think for now we just continue on. Try and break open. I mean, ideal scenario for us, c takes f and then knight jumps into f5. If not, then I guess we're just going to push on with f6, which is kind of nasty for black as well. So you might have to take this. You might have to take this, and then I like white. So I'm not sure about this. Knight e4 now. Might be able to play knight e4, but then I think probably just pushing on with f6 as played. Got some checks here. Yeah. What about f6 and then after gf we're going to take knight takes knight and then we've got that rook. I'm going to go for this. So f6 here. After gf we then trade the knight once he's committed himself and then we get to take with ef. So the knight drops off here. Don't think I'm missing anything. I mean, you can't play knight takes c3 because the queen's on pre. So you just move this. Okay. You just move this. Right. I mean, why not just take here? I mean, you may as well just take it. You've got to play king takes, right? Unless you move the rook. Moving the rook could work, actually. Moving the rook could work. I mean, on one level, I don't really want to take this knight here because it kind of opens up the bishop a bit. Okay, so what about... I mean, we couldn't just leave this be. Can we go queen g5 here? No, queen g5 loses. Queen g5 loses. And after de, this knight's on pre. So can we just say, you know, just ignore this and... Oh, we have to be a little bit careful about this pawn jumping forward here. Alright. Okay, what about rook f6? Does that help me? What about bringing the rook up, maybe? Might be work. Might go, oh, well, we're running out of time here. So after knight takes, what do we want to take with here? What do we want to take with the pawn or the queen? The pawn feels right here. My idea is to just try and play rook h4 and then queen h6 and just bash on through, and otherwise maybe even rook f1 here. We're not yet threatening to take twice on e4 because it's securely protected by the bishop. But I do think rook f1 or rook h4 are definitely threats here. What's black got? What's black trying to do? If knight takes c3, I mean, queen takes or queen takes c3 looks okay. How do I break in if I'm black? I want to try and... It's not that easy, really. It's really not that easy. The threat is now, I think, either rook ef1. But I don't know if I'm really threatening to take on f7. Okay. So that stops rook h4. So let's just continue then in that case with rook f1. Because that's another kind of threat. That's a move we can play pretty quickly. And we can double here. Okay, so you're just giving me that one. Alright, what's happening here on rook takes f7? Am I getting exchanges? Rook takes f7, takes e3, check, takes, check, takes. That doesn't work. Can I get in with this now? Can I play queen f3? Again, threatening f7. How do we stop this? Oh, queen takes g7 now. But queen takes g7, okay. But now just queen up. Alright, let's try that. Ah, I've lost these guys to the fork. Can I take this now? Let's take this now. Not sure about this one. If knight comes back, I don't know what's going on. We've got knight takes e6 in the wings as well. The check, I'm going to play h takes, and I've got knight e6 now. Knight e6 and then rook f8 looks good. So if we get knight back, I'm going to grab this now. Let's grab this now. Now threatening rook f8, rook takes f8, e takes f8, check. So this is big now. What do we do about this if we're black? I don't think knight e4 works. You could move the knight and try and get into c1 with mate, but we're getting this rook f8 quickly with check. What can you do about this? I'm going to pre-move rook takes g7 in case of queen takes g7 check. I don't see a way to stop rook f8 check, to be honest with you. With mate coming on f8, I don't really see a way to stop that now. Queen takes g2 check is possible. Queen takes g2 might be good, actually. Then queen takes g2, then king takes f7. That's the right line for black. So in fact, let's pre-move. Oh, okay. So, that's nice. That's nice. Let's. Oh gosh, we've gone that check here. I didn't mean to play that. We're going to have to pre-move this recapture. Okay. There's no mate now. And I've got queen g3 coming. Okay, knight takes. Yeah, okay, we went on time there. I think we had a winning position. We've got a rematch, but we'll just take a look at the game. So just as we pass by here, I don't really like this a3 move and then following up with f3, because we could just play f3 anyway and then and just allow b4 and move the knight. Although there isn't anywhere obvious that we want to move the knight, so maybe it's not too bad. So I've got to this position here. I'm fairly happy with White's position here. I think we're close to breaking through. Well, breaking through is an overstatement, but at least getting an f5. Rook c8. We did this so that we could protect this. I mean, we just f5 takes. We can actually play rook takes here. We can play rook takes. We don't need to worry about double protecting the e pawn. After rook takes, that's possible. Yeah. If we take with a knight, then I think this pawn is unpretty. f5, e takes, knight takes, and queen takes, takes. Then we've got knight e7 check, winning the rook on c8. So maybe we can just go ahead and play f5 immediately. I think if we can play f5 immediately, then White's in good shape. So I'm not sure about this. We protected, knight c5. We got in f5, that was nice. I think White's definitely in good shape here, especially after f6. My idea was that if g takes, we then play knight takes knight. And then we can play either rook takes f6 or e takes f6, removing the protector. But this feels like White should be better now. I mean, I don't know about taking on g7. Maybe we don't need to rush with that. But, you know, it can't be bad to open up the f-file. Rook f4 looks nice. Makes sense. Queen e7. Oh, I mean, wasn't the queen there anyway? Yeah, I mean, the queen's moving around a little bit. Queen e7 to stop that. Doubled on the f-file, that looks right as well. Queen g5. Now again, we can look at this, but what happens if knight takes e6 now? Is that any good? Knight takes e6, f takes, rook takes, rook takes, check, then king g7. But hang on, knight takes, f takes, rook f8 check, rook takes f8 check, g takes, rook takes king, and then okay. So hang on a second. By that rationale, can we not just play now? Knight takes knight. After e takes, then we jump in with this knight maneuver. Because now, if rook lands on the 8th with check, we win this queen after we get rid of the defender. So I think that looks like it's probably winning. We can check that in a moment. This looks maybe a bit too slow given what we've just seen. Knight e2. I missed the fork. So it's kind of lucky to escape here. That said, I mean, we can probably still almost play one of these moves, rook f7 or knight takes c6. Knight takes c6 doesn't work because of knight takes. Well, it's still not far off. See. I'm not sure about this. Yeah, I'm not sure about this. Feels like something ought to work. What do we actually play here? We just moved the queen back. Again, that feels like it can't be the best move. Let's just look at this. Rook takes f7, queen, then knight takes f3. That's the problem. Yeah, I think we have to move the queen. So trade here. And then we found this rook takes f7 now. But again, I don't know. Does this work for White? What's Black got? We could just continue on with queen c1, threatening basically mate, I think, or something pretty nasty. So queen c1, we go rook f8 check, rook takes f8, g takes f8, and then rook takes, and then I don't know if we've really got anything. So what else have we got after queen c1? Is this just winning for Black? Maybe it's winning for Black now. What did Black play? Played knight here. Then we found this knight maneuver, which is pretty nice here. And that looks like it's winning now. We got knight f3 here, but we went for the check, but we could also just play knight takes g5, which is also going to be winning. It's clearly going to be winning. We went for the check first, and we played this, and now this. I mean, still knight takes g5 looks pretty fine for me. I mean, there's no checks, there's no discovered checks, so knight g5 also looks good. So I think White's definitely winning in this position. Okay, thanks for watching.